What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Chris Show here on Chris TV. I am Chris, and today we got a couple topics today to talk about on a Wednesday afternoon, live here from Hershey, Pennsylvania, inside Chris Studios. We're going to be talking about some Pittsburgh sports here on this Wednesday afternoon, talking about a little bit of Dynamite. Konnor Griffin signs a 9-year, $140 million deal with the Pirates. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the WrestleMania 42 drama, TKO, who is really to blame. And then we're going to talk about the NFL draft in Pittsburgh coming up on the 23rd. Is the day one of the NFL draft, April 23rd to the 25th. So we got a lot to talk about. But before we get on to that, make sure you guys go subscribe, follow, hit that post notification bell. Wherever you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. If you're watching on X, make sure you're going to hit that follow button. Come over to the YouTube, say what's up. Make sure you go subscribe. It would be very much appreciated. We are on the road to 100 subscribers here on PGHChrisTV after rebuilding a whole new channel from scratch. That I had a channel that was at 4K, but shit happens. It is Wednesday, so you know what that means. Live on the Sports Jedi Network, I will be doing the AEW Dynamite post show with our newest member, co-host, Haas Knucklebrew. It's going to be a great conversation. Give me a fucking horn for Nas Huckerbrew. Great dude, great guy to talk wrestling with. Him and Kev did a great job on the NXT post show, which you guys can go check out over on the Sports Jedi Network. Links are in the description on my YouTube for all the social media links, YouTubes, and audio platforms for myself and the Sports Jedi Network. So you guys go make sure you guys head over there immediately following Dynamite to go hear what me and Haas Knucklebrew have to say about Dynamite. Is the go home show before Dynasty this Sunday from Vancouver. Not gonna do a whole preview of the card like I usually do. Just some key things. We are going to speak. Kenny Omega is going to speak. We're going to hear from Kenny Omega. Most likely, still talking about Dynasty, getting ready for that. I still think they're in Canada tonight. So we're gonna see how his promo is gonna be. We're gonna see how the crowd is. And it should be an interesting one. We got Jericho. Jericho will be addressing his return tonight on AEW Dynamite. And I'm very curious to see what Chris Jericho is gonna say. He didn't really say much the last time. We saw him, which was last week for the first time. And I'm curious to see what Jericho. So I guess he's not going by Chris Jericho anymore. I guess he's just going by Jericho. So we're going to see what he has to say. Maybe we'll get more than a few words out of his mouth. We got Willow Nightingale and Queen Amidala for the TBS title. And we got a trios match, which I'm getting fucking tired of the trios matches. So go check out our review on the Sports Jedi Network after the show. We're going to start off with some baseball and going on to the MLB. The Pittsburgh Pirates are making moves. We have a generational pitcher who is, to my knowledge, signed with the Pirates until 2029. So the Pirates are making moves with Paul Skeens, but the Pirates also made some moves today. Today at 8 o'clock in the morning, it was announced that Konnor Griffin from the Pittsburgh Pirates has agreed to a $140 million deal for 9 years with the Pittsburgh Pirates. It is the largest guarantee in Pirates history, as well for any player in his rookie season. He is 19 years old. He is the first teenager position to debut since Juan Soto in 2008, where he took over the shortstop duties. For the Pirates before the home opener Thursday, the contract buys out 3 potential years of agency for Griffin, who is regarded throughout the industry as a franchise level talent. This was a quote by Bob Nutting. Signing Konnor is a meaningful commitment to this team, this city, and our fans. It reflects our belief in Konnor, in this season's club, and the future of our organization. Pirates chair Bob Nutting said in a statement, Konnor represents everything we value in a player: exceptional talent, strong character, a team-first mentality, and a maturity that has stood out to all of us from the beginning. He is the right person from the right family. This is another important step of the work we have been doing to build a winning team for this year and going forward. I like that. I think Bob Nutting, if you check out, the shows with me and Bob Quinn, Red Hot Steelers Takes, at Bubba SQ on X, you guys, we talked about this a little bit on our show Friday, where who's kind of the better owner in Pittsburgh right now. And I said I don't think Bob Nutting's quite there yet, but he's making the moves that he needs to, and this is definitely one of them. Getting Skis what was a blessing. He's with us for a while. Let's just put it that way. I know a lot of trade rumors are there. Skis to the Yankees. He said himself he's a Pirate. So we got him. We got him for a while, and I think this addition, it makes sense. It makes sense. We moved on from Kutch. A lot of people still think he should be on the team. So now we get a fresh 19-year-old kid who's gonna make a name for himself in Pittsburgh. Who's gonna be that Pittsburgh guy. Maybe he'll bring a playoff appearance to the city, which is what I want. I'm tired of not playing baseball in October. Nothing really to look forward to in Pittsburgh baseball. Now, the Pirates this season have been playing okay baseball. They are 7-5. They did lose to the Padres today, 8-2. And I believe they did beat the Padres yesterday, 7-1. So, they didn't win the series. The Padres did win 5-0 on Monday. So we didn't win this series. We have a 7-5 record. 2 games above 500 to start the season. Not bad, but not great. Again, not bad for Pittsburgh, but again, not going to get us in the playoffs. Not going to win us the NL Central. It's not going to do anything like that for us. And I think it's important that we keep winning games. We keep winning games. It's important that Bob Nutting finally realizes that he needs to do something with the team. He's doing that. O'Neal Cruz, they moved him to center. Hasn't been playing great in the field, but can still bat very well. Brandon Lowell, another addition that came to the Pirates this offseason. So I think the Pirates have a future. I think this brings a lot of attention. Ever since Konnor Griffin's been on the Pirates, the Pirates have been talked about more than ever in the last couple of years, really since acquiring Paul Skeens, because the Pirates have never done anything good to where Paul Skeens could show out in big games, in anything meaningful. So I think this is good, and I think this is good for the city, good for the team, and good for the fans. It feels like a new beginning. Hopefully Bob Nutting, gets some points here with the fans. But we'll see what happens with that. I think it's gonna be an interesting ride to see how this kid plays and if the Pirates will be making the playoffs come this year. Before we get into our next topic here on the PGHChris Show, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, G Fuel Energy. All right, quick time out in today's video. I want to talk to you guys about our sponsor, G Fuel Energy. If you're anything like me, you're locked in for late nights, breaking down games, watching wrestling, gaming, or just grinding content and coffee isn't cutting it anymore, this is where G Fuel comes in. No sugar, no crash, just clean energy that keeps you focused on pregame all the way through overtime. Whether I'm live, recording, or locked in the slate of games, G Fuel keeps me going. They've got a ridiculous lineups of flavors, collaborations, and a whole other group of well-known content creators a part of the movement. So you're definitely going to find one that hits. This is legit energy for creators, gamers, and sports fans who don't slow down. Use promo code PGHChris when you check out. It saves you money and supports the channel, which you guys know I appreciate more than ever. Again, that's G Fuel Energy /PGHChris, or use my promo code PGHChris for 20% off checkout. Now, let's get back into the video. We are back here live on the PGH Chris Show. Make sure you guys go check out G Fuel as well as Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes, official sponsor of the Sports Jedi Network. Blackout Coffee. No, Blackout Coffee. You can use your promo code SportsJedi20 to save yourself 20% off. You know we're repping Dude Wipes, always another big affiliate of the Sports Jedi Network. So shout out to those 3 partners and affiliates of myself and Kev and the Sports Jedi Network. We're going to be talking about the draft in Pittsburgh as our second topic here of the show. Couple weeks, guys. A couple weeks. We are in April 8th. Next weekend, we are at WrestleMania. And then next Thursday is the draft. In Pittsburgh. I will not be there. I'm not going through the hiatus. But if you're going to the draft in Pittsburgh and you're watching this, here are some things you need to know before attending. Couple things. Over 500,000 fans are expected to be in Pittsburgh's North Shore and Point State Park from April 23rd to 25th for the NFL draft, for the 2026 NFL draft. Whether you're a first-time visitor or a long-time Pittsburgher, guys, this is what you need to know. And this is all courtesy of WESA Pittsburgh NPR news station 90.5. This is all an article, and this is credited by Aliyah Saeed. The draft experience, the free festival-style portion of the event, will be held in the lots surrounding Acrisure Stadium and at Point State Park. The event runs from noon to 10 on Thursday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 on Saturday. Long time to be at a draft. I'm curious, that first round Thursday is going to be a lot of people. I see a lot of the locals being there. Maybe a lot of people are taking off, aren't going to be anywhere for the Thursday and night one. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to be an interesting one, with Pat McAfee doing the show there and all that. We'll see. But you guys do need to register. I did register. I did get my approval. I'm just not making the trip. But the Roberto Clemente Bridge is your connector that spans links PNC Park to downtown. Will be in the primary path for fans moving between North Shore campus and Point State Park. So you guys can go over the Clemente Bridge, see PNC Park, kind of get that Pittsburgh feel, and all that stuff. I'm not gonna go over all the basics. If you're going to the draft, you should get these emails and all this information sent to you. But the reason I bring all that stuff up, and it might sound a little boring, is it's gonna be a crazy draft in Pittsburgh. I think the draft is something that Pittsburghers wanted for a long time. The city has such a rich history of football and sports. We're not in a position where we have a top 5 picker or anything like that. There are now the reports that Fernando Mendoza is not going to attend the draft in Pittsburgh, which it's up to him. I mean, it might suck for the fans attending, for the draft and all that stuff. But if, I know his family isn't doing the best. I'd be lying to say if, I wouldn't do the same if I was him. It's just, who cares if the kid's at the draft or not? We know he's going to be the number 1 pick. There are going to be plenty of players being drafted that you'll get to see. Current players, former players, media, talent, coaches, recruiters. It's going to be a fun night, a fun 3 days in Pittsburgh. That's also the start of football, in my opinion. at least for me, that's when I really go crazy into the football stuff. It's after WrestleMania, drafts there, we get the ball rolling pretty quick. But I think, we're depending on if we get a quarterback in the first round, is it going to be a battle between a Ty Simpson and a Will Howard? My point is, if we don't draft a quarterback, one or two things. A, Aaron Rodgers is staying, or B, they're going to test that Will Howard experiment. And I believe you should test that Will Howard experiment. Again, I'm an Ohio State guy. It might sound biased, whatever. But I think you test out that Will Howard experiment. He throws really good deep balls. He has good height. Coach McCarthy's has a history of quarterback developmental or development, working with players. I think it could be a good fit for Will Howard. Um, and we'll see. We'll see. But ultimately, the draft in Pittsburgh, it's going to be fun. If you're going, be safe. Take some pictures, send some pictures, tag me. It's going to be a fun couple of days in the city. Before we get into our last topic here, because if you guys want to hear the actual draft talk where I talk about players, all that stuff, I've been doing that on Fridays. You guys can check out Fridays either here or on Bob's channel, Red Hot Steelers Takes. You guys can, go back and listen to our episodes, and that's where I talk about that. But for this week, just reminding a lot of the guys, people that are going, what to expect. Expect a lot of traffic, a lot of people. Schools aren't going to be in session. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. So stay safe, have fun, and let's go. Now, before we get into our last topic, spicy topic, we're going to hear from G Fuel. But before we hear from G Fuel, I want to again remind you guys that tonight, after AEW Dynamite live on the Sports Jedi Network, link will be in the description on YouTube as well. It's all over my X in the bio. We'll be live for the AEW Dynamite post show. And I won't be by myself this time. I will be with our newest member, Haas Knuckle Brew. We'll be having a great conversation, getting ready for Dynasty this Sunday. Rebellion for TNAs this week too. So a lot of things. And we're going to get into the wrestling part after this message from G Fuel. WrestleMania 42. Let's get into our last topic here. I'm not going to do predictions. This isn't what I'm doing. All right. I just want to get that out there. I'm going to talk about the drama. Because I know you guys, this is a football show. This is a sports show. I get that. But you guys see my logo and you guys know I'm pro wrestling. I've been doing this for a while. So there's going to be pro wrestling every week on my show. It's not going to, I will save the big things and all that stuff for obviously the Sports Jedi Network and the collaborations and all that stuff, but you guys will get pro wrestling out of me on this show. Just wanna give you guys that heads up because I know most of you guys are here for sports, but I am going to be talking about pro wrestling on here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the drama going on between WrestleMania 40. And I'm not going to go too crazy into it, but I'm going to say a few things. One, I don't think Triple H deserves a lot of the blame. I think, with the Pat McAfee stuff and all that, I think he is in a situation right now where he could slowly be out the door. And he has people above him. I don't think a lot of people necessarily realize that. I don't think people understand, like, Triple H, just because he's the head of creative, that is his title, and, that's his job. but I can almost promise you, not almost promise you, but I can almost, I'm very, very certain that in my personal prediction, my personal theory, this was not a Triple H call, and that he really, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not going to say he doesn't have majority, he's not calling majority of the shots creatively, because he is, but again, he would have never incorporated Pat McAfee into the Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton storyline. I don't think him and Stephanie going to the Hall of Fame. Like, I'll tell you one thing that Triple H, probably is doing, right? He put him in the himself in the Hall of Fame last year, and Triple H, or his wife Stephanie, in the Hall of Fame this year. Could that mean something? I think so, but that's your own opinions to make. Overall, with the ticket sales and all that stuff, we talk about it constantly on Weekly Wrestlings, which you guys go over and watch. We do a great job, myself and Kev does a great job of, making sure the show goes well and all that stuff. Take a lot of time to make sure that show's really good, just like we do everything else. But I really enjoyed that because that's where we get to really speak our minds. And I said, we've talked about this topic for a while, where these ticket sales, obviously they outprice a lot of people. They outprice average fans. It's hard to go to the Monday Night Raws and the SmackDowns when they're in your city, especially the PLEs. I don't think they're going to get to a point where they're going to lower the prices, especially for the big PLEs and stuff, but I do think this WrestleMania should be an eye opener. I mean, they are trying everything they can to sell these tickets and throw everything they can to make this show interesting. John Cena being the host, Pat McAfee being there. IShowSpeed is in a fucking 6-man tag team match with Logan Paul. You don't think that these moves are being made to sell extra tickets? They announced the Demon will be coming to WrestleMania. You think the Demon's going to sell a couple extra 1,000 tickets? You couldn't just leave one thing for the fucking wrestling fans to be a surprise. One. Now, did we know that the Demon was probably going to come back? I know that Finn Balor, was going to pull that at WrestleMania? Yes. But can you at least give the wrestling fans something to look forward to and be surprised about, since you already fucking threw a bunch of shit that nobody wants to see? Jelly Roll. The two celebrities I just named, they're still doing that stupid Kill Tony shit. WrestleMania feels like more of a monopoly and a money grab than it does the biggest sports entertainment, the biggest pro wrestling event of the year. And I'm not one of these people that are going to go, I'm not watching WrestleMania this year. You know what? That's bullshit. It's the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. You're going to fucking watch it. I might not be excited. Now, that's one thing. I think the night one card is fucking mid, in my opinion. I think the night two card looks cool. I think night one looks eh. Tell me what's exciting on night one besides Cody and Roman. Or excuse me, Cody and Randy. And again, we're going to talk about this when me, Haas, Kev, and maybe a few other people do our prediction show on the Sports Jedi Network. But you're going to really tell me that anything else on that show I need to watch, like it's must watch. I don't give a fuck about IShowSpeed and Logan Paul and the Vision. What else is on night one? Liv and Stephanie's on night one. No, I'm good. Seth and Gunther is going to be a fucking banger. That's going to be a good match. I don't know if the story's really there. We'll see what happens. Maybe that is a way to get Brock Lesnar and Gunther in a match. But that's going to be a good match. But storyline wise, should that be the co-main event or anything to look forward to leading up to it? No. Because those weren't the original plans between these two. Allegedly. And you could see that coming without a reporter telling you that. Jacob and Drew, don't care. And then AJ, but like none of these matches. Tell me one other match besides that main event that's really you need to watch. I promise I'm not hating. I'm not. Because I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to cover it. And I'm going to have a great time. But let's be honest. This is like the third year in a row now where night 1 or night 2 is just stacked. WrestleMania 39 to me will be the last. It has been the last best WrestleMania we had. I don't give a fuck about what you people think about WrestleMania 40. Newsflash, WrestleMania 40 is not as good as you people think it is. WrestleMania 40 was not as good as you people think it is. WrestleMania 40 was hijacked. WrestleMania 40 was repetitive. It was the same shit we got last year. We had 2 of the same fucking people in both the main events for both nights. It was cold as shit. WrestleMania 39 was perfect. Every single fucking match on that card. Ray and Dom was probably my favorite match on the card. It didn't have a championship. It wasn't the main event. Roman and Cody won was way better than that bullshit fiasco they had at WrestleMania 40. Dave, that's not the best match. That's not the best main event. That's not the fucking Avengers. That is not the new eras coming together. It was a bunch of hokey pokey shit that was unnecessary. The only people that mattered in that match, the only people that mattered was The Rock and Seth because they just had their match the night prior. We didn't need John Cena as much as I love you. We did not need fucking Solo Sikoa. We did not need The Undertaker. We did not need Stone Cold. That's why their WrestleMania 39 match blows their WrestleMania 40 match out of the fucking water. My point is, when it comes to WrestleMania, I think obviously we need to wait until the card is there. You know, we can only go based off what's shown on paper. Again, I'm not going to give you predictions, any of that stuff. I will do that next week with my guys. But we need to look at we really need to look in the mirror. Because I know WWE is the global juggernaut of professional wrestling. But I'm not going to act like everything's all sweet. That's one thing I'm not going to do. Is pretend that everything's just okay. Because it's not. It's not. Now, everybody has their own opinion. Respect, that's fine. We could talk about it. But this WrestleMania, the TKO people, the suits and ties, is it fair to say they're taking the fun out of the wrestling fans like me? Like Kev? Like everybody else that sits here and talks about this shit? I understand what they're trying to do for business. You don't need to, nobody needs to explain. You people on Twitter don't need to explain to me it's a business thing. I know that. And I get that. But again, when the business starts to affect the fans and a company like WWE, a business like professional wrestling, relies on the fans, you got to start thinking to yourself, I hope TKO, everybody in WWE looks herself in the mirror and realizes what the fuck's going on and fix it. fix it fast. With that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching the show. I appreciate it, like always. Make sure you guys go follow, subscribe to the Sports Jedi Network. We will be live tonight for AEW Dynamite. Me and Filthy Hoss, Knuckle Brew will be live. We got TNA tomorrow, TNA Saturday, excuse me. And we got Dynasty Review Monday. Wrestlemania next weekend. A lot of content coming up. Lots over on that side. As well for here, I did do the WWE Topps Chrome review. So make sure you guys go check that out on my Twitter. And with that being said, guys, see you guys